Have you ever been the disappointment in the family? The one they talk about when you leave the room? I was. Not officially, not directly, but in subtle ways. The sighs, the comparisons, the jokes that weren't really jokes. They never said I was a failure. They just said things like, "Why can't you be more like Ethan?" And that sentence followed me for 10 years. I grew up in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. Middle-class neighborhood, white fences, Sunday church, Friday night football. My cousin Ethan was the golden child, straight-A student, football captain, full scholarship to Stanford. I was different. I liked design. I liked building things online. I liked creating. But in my family, if you weren't a doctor, lawyer, or athlete, you were still figuring things out. At Thanksgiving dinners, my aunt would smile and say, "So, what are you doing these days?" That tone, that polite curiosity, that subtle judgment wrapped in mashed potatoes. And then she'd turn to Ethan, "Our Stanford boy." Everyone claps. I pass the gravy. At 23, I tried starting a small online marketing agency. It failed. I lost $8,000, moved back into my parents' basement, and that Christmas, I heard it. I was walking down the stairs. My uncle whispered to my dad, "Maybe he just doesn't have that drive." Silence. And then my dad said softly, "I don't know where we went wrong." That sentence didn't break me. It branded me. Failure. After that, nobody insulted me. They didn't need to. The label was already attached. But here's what they didn't see. Failure does something interesting. It isolates you, and isolation teaches you. While Ethan posted internship photos from Silicon Valley, I was watching YouTube tutorials at 2 a.m., learning digital strategy, learning branding psychology, learning how attention works. No announcements, no social media updates, no big reveal, just quiet work. I got a freelance client, then another, then 5. I reinvested everything. No vacations, no new car, just skill stacking. By 27, I launched a niche branding consultancy for small tech startups. And this time, I didn't tell anyone. 5 years later, Grandma's 80th birthday, big family gathering. Same house, same dining table, same comparisons. Ethan had graduated from Stanford, got a corporate job in San Francisco, 6 figures. Everyone's still proud. Then my aunt turned to me. "So, are you still doing that online thing?" Room quiet. Forks paused. I smiled. "Yeah." She nodded politely, like she was humoring a child. Then my uncle laughed lightly. "Still experimenting, huh?" And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel small. Because earlier that week, I had just signed a $2.3 million annual contract with a startup in Austin. My company had 14 remote employees. We were profitable, debt-free, growing, and nobody knew. Dinner continued. Ethan was talking about corporate burnout, long hours, office politics. He looked tired. For a moment, I felt something unexpected. Not superiority, perspective. Then my grandmother asked me gently, "So, sweetheart, what exactly do you do?" And this time, I answered fully. I explained branding strategy, explained market positioning, explained how we helped companies scale. Calmly, clearly, no exaggeration. My cousin blinked. My uncle leaned forward. My aunt stopped smiling. Then Ethan asked quietly, "Wait, how big is your company?" I took a sip of water. 14 people, mostly remote. We just closed a multi-million-dollar contract. Silence. Real silence. Not awkward. Shifted. You could feel it. My father looked at me, different. Not confused, not disappointed. Proud. And he said something I will never forget. "I guess we didn't go wrong after all." That sentence healed something 10 years old. Here's the truth, though. The money wasn't the victory. The contract wasn't the victory. Even the family validation wasn't the real win. The real win? I stopped needing their approval before I got it. That's when everything changed. Because when you build in silence, the noise doesn't control you anymore. Ethan and I talked later that night. No rivalry, just honesty. He admitted he envied my freedom. I admitted I used to envy his spotlight. And we laughed, like adults. No competition, just different paths. And I realized something powerful. They didn't call me a failure because I lacked potential. They called me a failure because they didn't understand my path. And misunderstanding is not a verdict. It's just limited perspective. They thought I was behind. I was building foundation. They thought I was lost. I was learning direction. They thought I failed. I was preparing. And the best part? I never had to argue. I never had to prove them wrong loudly. I just outgrew the label, silently. If you've ever been compared, if you've ever felt like the disappointment, if someone ever looked at your dream and called it unrealistic, comment below, "I'm building in silence." Like this video if you believe success doesn't need applause. Subscribe for more stories about real growth, real struggle, and real wins. Because sometimes the underdog isn't losing, he's loading.